to Normal to Formal Podcast, episode number 4. I'm your host, Tia Young. I am the founder of Tia Young Image and Etiquette. I started this podcast to help people increase their social skills, image, and earning potential, and grow from normal to formal. These skills will help you get ahead of your competition. On today's podcast, I'd like to focus on virtual meeting etiquette. You know the ones: Zoom, Google Hangouts, and many, many more. I'm a member of BNI, Business Network International. BNI was founded in 1985 by Dr. Ivan Meisner. And the vision statement is changing the way the world does business. BNI's mission is to help members increase their business through a structured, positive, and professional referral marketing program that enables them to develop long-term, meaningful relationships with quality business professionals. I actually had the opportunity to record a podcast on BNI Podcast with Dr. Meisner last year in 2019. It's podcast number 632 called Maximizing Your Professional Image. But now that we can't meet face-to-face, BNI has created a BNI online platform for the members to meet virtually. So this Zoom etiquette will definitely help many of the members that might be new to virtual meetings. And one of my friends, fellow BNI member and director Simone Cameron, put together a Zoom etiquette guideline for the chapters. And I asked her if I can use this to share with you all today. This will help us be able to present ourselves professionally, virtually, when we meet. Simone is a social media marketing expert and the owner of Annette Marketing Group. And she put together a list of 12 guidelines to use for online virtual meeting etiquette. Number 1, dress appropriately as you would for an in-person meeting. You don't need to have a suit and tie on, but at very best, ensure your top half is presentable. You know, virtual or not, I want to make sure my image is always appropriate because that's what I do for a living. I teach about image, etiquette, social skills, and proper protocol. But you only need to worry about the top half. So I make sure I get up, put on some makeup, curl my hair, and a little tip for you, I just curl the front half of my hair because you're not going to see the back. And I make sure I look nice and even put on a little lipstick. Number 2, ensure that you have a clean, work-appropriate background. Work-appropriate background. So that means have a background that won't be distracting from your face and shoulders, because that's all that should be showing anyway, your face and your shoulders. We don't need to see your whole body. And if we're focused more on what's behind you than you, then that's a distracting background. So we want to make sure it's clean and work appropriate. When I say clean, I mean there's no dirty dishes in the background or a lot of toys in the background or clothes on the floor. I remember seeing a video of someone on screen and I couldn't hear anything they were saying because I was distracted by everything behind them and what was going on. So we don't want to do that. Number 3, test your video and audio before your meeting. I'm new to Zoom and Google Hangouts and all of the other online platforms. I'm old school, I always say. So I'm having to learn how to do these things now. And image is very important to me. So I never want to present myself if I'm not at my best. So I make sure that I'm presentable when I have to be on camera to the best of my ability. So for me, I had to go on and test everything from the sound to the video. I want to know what people are seeing and hearing. So I made sure I tested it out. I also created an image of me, a picture, so to speak. So if I'm not available at the time, so you won't see my face, you still will be able to see an image of me. or my name. If you don't have that set up, your name should show. Once tested, know that when you unmute yourself, we can hear you. So no need to ask, can you hear me? You should see some kind of symbol, a microphone with an X through it to show you're muted, or that X is not there, therefore you're unmuted. So everything you're saying to your family, to your dog, to your spouse, we're going to hear. So make sure you mute yourself if you're not talking. Number 4, look into the camera when talking instead of looking at yourself. And we're all guilty of that. Just like when you see a picture of yourself with a group of people, your eye goes directly to you and not to the whole group. It's just natural. But make sure when you're on those Zoom meetings or any kind of virtual meeting where your video is showing of yourself, that you actually look in the camera and not at yourself or the other people. Number 5, don't get too close to the camera. You want to position yourself so the camera is seeing you from the chest up instead of just seeing your face. And be sure others are always seeing your full face instead of from your eyes up. Number 6, eliminate distractions and focus on the meeting or the person talking. We all like to multitask. I know I do. Now, if it's a casual virtual meeting, you can be a little bit more casual on some virtual meetings. I recently attended a Zoom happy hour meeting with a few of my friends, and I was cooking at the same time. I was also using my cell phone instead of my laptop computer, so I was moving around quite a bit. But in a professional meeting, that would not have been appropriate. Make sure you're staying in place. Now, there might be an emergency bathroom trip, package delivery, and of course, my dogs bark every time they hear the doorbell ring or an interruption by a family member. That's when you want to mute yourself, turn off your video where it shows your picture or your name, go tend to that issue, and then return back as soon as possible. Also, when you start the meeting, have everything you need at hand. A pen, paper, any notes or reports you might need for the meeting, a cup of coffee or tea. Have it there ready when the meeting begins so you don't have to be getting up and down throughout the meeting. Eliminate distractions, any dings on your phone or computer, dogs barking in the background, kids talking, and that's going to happen. So you want to make sure that you quickly let them know that you're on a business call. Number 7, avoid multitasking. It shows that you're uninterested and doesn't show respect to the person speaking. We all have a billion things to do on our to-do list, but during that meeting, however long it may be, 1 hour, 2 hours, give the speaker and the meeting your full attention, just like you're actually there in person. Number 8, mute your microphone when necessary. Unmute as the person prior to you is wrapping up to eliminate any lag time. Then mute again as soon as you're finished. During my BNI meeting, we all get to speak for 30 to 45 seconds about our business and who would be a good referral for us this week. Once we finish speaking, we'll mute ourselves again. Number 9, be mindful of background noise. Like earlier, sometimes things make sounds that you're not realizing. Even typing on your computer with nails, we can hear that if you're not muted. Number 10, think about your actions on camera. Refrain from private behavior. Kissing your spouse, scratching your armpits, etc., because we can see everything you're doing. Number 11, prepare materials or your presentation in advance. Being unprepared virtually still gives the same message as being unprepared face-to-face. Because we can upload a slide presentation, and if you're the speaker, make sure the host has that information at least the day before so they can add it to the PowerPoint slide presentation. Number 12, use the chat function to encourage your fellow coworkers or members and congratulate them on achievements. So make sure you practice finding where that chat is. And if it's just to one person, you don't want to chat to everyone if it's really just for that one person. That's just like replying all on an email. If it's specific to one person, you don't need to reply all to everyone. If you have questions for the host, you can put that in the chat also. There may be technical difficulties, or you might have a statement of you not being able to hear or see the screen properly. Sometimes there is a chat host other than the meeting organizer. Therefore, that person can handle the meeting at hand, and the chat host can answer any questions. I also love breakout rooms in Zoom. So if you have a large meeting, you can actually break down the meeting into smaller groups from the one main meeting. I recently attended a Zoom social speed networking, and it really turned out well. I was able to network with BNI members from across the United States and make some great connections. So we were put in breakout rooms because the entire group was about 80 people, and then they broke us up into rooms of maybe 3 people, 2 to 3 people. So we were able to introduce ourselves in 5-minute segments and then come back to the main group, and then we were divided again. So that actually turned out pretty well, and I made some great connections that way. So in my last few weeks of virtual meetings, I'm getting the hang of it. I'm a little more relaxed than normal, but I'm still professional because I'm an image and etiquette coach, and I still have to be professional as an image and etiquette coach because I always say your image is everything, virtually or not. So everything nowadays is virtual, and we have to learn how to present ourselves well, especially if it's a professional meeting. Thank you so much for listening to the Normal to Formal podcast today. Please join me next Monday on another episode on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker.com, and many other podcast platforms. Please subscribe, comment, and share. Follow me at Mrs. Tia Young on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Mrs. Manners on LinkedIn and TikTok. My website is Tia Young Image and Etiquette, TiaYoungImage.com. Please reach out to me. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.